Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. This comes from the Los Angeles Police Department's YouTube page. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play the entirety of this video, and some of this video has LAPD's public relations people talking, and they just kind of explain a lot of PR stuff on their end about the whole thing, and kind of do like a little informational about body cameras. I'm going to keep that in there so the people who have an interest in actually watching the whole thing can watch it. I will pause at random parts throughout the video to talk about things that are going on, to better explain what's going on, and to talk about things that I think were done right and or done wrong. Now, the shooting portion of this video is actually pretty short. So if we go down to the little slide bar here, at about the 4-minute and 47-second mark is when the action starts, and it does not last very long at all. It ends at about the 5-minute and 30-second mark. So it's not even a full minute long, really. Really short, but the bulk of this is just, like I said, the press release from LAPD. And there is a segment in here that they include the audio tapes from the 911 call and the police dispatch. So, without further ado, here we go.
Hello, I'm Captain Stacy Spell, Commanding Officer of Media Relations Division of the Los Angeles Police Department. This critical incident community briefing is intended to provide you with information about an officer-involved shooting that occurred in Topanga Division in the city of Los Angeles on May 29, 2021 at around 1:07 p.m. You're about to see relevant video footage and learn about other evidence and police procedures related to the case, so you can have a better understanding of what occurred based on what we know right now. The LAPD conducts very thorough use of force investigations, which typically require investigators to interview multiple witnesses, view numerous hours of video footage, and analyze a significant amount of forensic evidence. We are still at the very early stages of this investigation, which can often take up to a year to complete, and our understanding of the incident may change as this additional evidence is collected, analyzed, and reviewed. We also do not draw any conclusions about whether the officers acted consistent with our policies and the law until all the facts are known and the investigation is complete. A word of caution: the images and information you're about to see may be disturbing. When a police officer uses force to arrest a suspect or defend against an attack, it can be graphic and difficult to watch. In addition, there may be strong language used by those shown in the video. Viewer discretion is advised, especially for young children and sensitive viewers. Officers assigned to Topanga Division Patrol responded to a radio call of an assault with a deadly weapon suspect armed with a handgun in front of a hotel located on the 21,800 block of Ventura Boulevard. Here's the 911 call and radio broadcast from this incident.
Yes, there's a guy right here. He just put a gun out on me. He's acting aggressive. I'm at the Best Western Hotel on Ventura. I'm sitting in my car. I asked him what he was looking at.
What's the address for the cross street?
I don't know. It's Ventura.
Okay, let me see if I can. Are you seeing your
30 Ventura.
Okay, and that's the Best Western. This guy is in a car?
No, he's walking here right now. He's walking down Ventura with black shirt, black backpack, black shoes, black socks. He just stopped in front of the fish place, something fishy. He's standing in front, he's walking past something fishy.
Okay, stay on
He
the
has
phone
a
with me.
silver automatic firearm.
Is he white, black, Hispanic, or Asian?
He's white,
About how old is he up here?
about 32, 35.
Stay on the line with me while officers sit there, please. Don't disconnect.
Topanga units, they take away suspect there now. Ventura at the Best Western. Suspect male, white, 32 to 35 years, black shirt, black shorts, black socks with a black backpack, armed with a silver semi-automatic handgun. It's code 3 incident 2220 and RD 2187. Topanga units, addition on the ADW suspect there now. Ventura at the Best Western. The PR is in front of the location. The white Prius still has a visual of the suspect. The suspect's now behind the Copper Mine restaurant in the alley. 21L40, the suspect pulled the gun out on the PR while they were in the parking lot of the Best Western. The PR saw the silver semi-automatic handgun.
When the officers arrived to the area of the call, they located the suspect.
All right, so from the 911 call, the guy says that he was just sitting in his car and then asked the guy what he's looking at. So, of course, I wasn't there, and there's no recording of how that interaction transpired, but I kind of doubt that the interaction was as nonchalant as he kind of described it. I kind of doubt it was a, hey, what are you looking at kind of interaction. It's probably more of a thing with a little bit of attitude in it, like, what you looking at? Or maybe it could have been, hey, what the fuck you looking at? And anytime you're dealing with street people and you challenge them like that, they're not just going to, for the most part, just roll with it, right? Trying to understand the social mechanics of street people, it is a lot different than what you would imagine it to be, and it's a lot different than what you were accustomed to. And I'm assuming that most of my viewers are just good-natured, law-abiding citizens who do not engage in stupid stuff in life and have not had to surround themselves or be surrounded by people who live a life of crime and live the streets. When I say streets, I don't mean like they're homeless or anything like that. I mean like they don't really have good full-time jobs, good full-time legitimate jobs. They're doing illegal stuff in the streets. They're burglarizing, they might be robbing, selling drugs, stuff like that. People who live that lifestyle are way different than you and I. Looking at someone the wrong way can cause those people to react in a what you would see as a violent kind of way. And there's no other politically correct way to say this, but street people are animals. Now, I am of a belief that humans, in general, we are animals, but street people compared to more quote unquote, and I'll use this loosely, civilized people. Street people can be more animalistic than your common people who work in offices and more stable jobs and stuff like that. Looking at them a certain way can be like challenging them. You're challenging their dominance and their what they perceive to be them as the alpha male or whatever. So simply looking at someone the wrong way and saying something to them the wrong way will elicit a response from them that is not going to be typical of what you would maybe think a response from someone in your office or your workplace, someone who's not had to live a life like these street thugs do. So when this guy said, on the 911 call that he asked him what he was looking at, like I said, I kind of seriously doubt it was a very nonchalant, um, non what's the word I'm looking for? Non-provoking kind of way. I'm sure there was some little bit of attitude with that, and this criminal responded the way that most criminals are going to respond. He responded in an animalistic way. Also, another thing, the 911, not the 911 dispatch, but the radio communications. This is just a random thought, but I really do not like listening to radio chatter from Los Angeles police. I think you're going to probably think I'm crazy for even talking about it or noting it, but I think they have some of the most atrocious radio talk that I've ever heard. Like, these people, in my opinion, they sound like shit when they talk on the radio, and that they talk on the radio more than most agencies across the U.S. and still talking that much on the radio. A lot of times they sound like crap. Um, random thought, random observation. I like to hear your thoughts on that as well. But continuing on with the video.
Suspect in the parking lot of a shopping center. The officers gave the suspect commands, but he refused to comply. The suspect pointed a handgun at the officers, resulting in an officer-involved shooting. The suspect was not struck by gunfire and taken into custody. No officers were injured during this incident. That suspect was later identified as Patrick Colby. Colby was transported and booked into an LAPD jail facility. Body-worn video cameras are used by most officers assigned to field duties. They are worn at chest level and capture a general perspective within line of sight from that angle. The angle of the camera prohibits viewers from seeing everything the officer saw and experienced. Upon activation, both audio and video will turn on. However, body-worn video cameras have a buffer of video without audio from the previous 2 minutes prior to activation. This feature is designed to capture incidents that occur suddenly, where an officer doesn't immediately activate the camera. Here's body-worn video from the officer involved in this incident.
21X3 on code 6 to the hospital.
Hey, stop now! Stop!
Behind you, the row.
Watch it, shots fired! Go! Get out of the car! Get your hands up now! Fucking hands up! Face the fucking wall! Face the fucking wall! You sure I'll fucking kill you?
Get the fuck on the ground!
Get him on his knees! Get on the fucking ground! Hands on your head!
Hands on your head!
Hook him up! You move, I'll fucking blow your fucking head off! Do you understand? Fucking blow your fucking head off!
Stand up! Stand up! Spread your feet! Spread your feet wide!
Investigators recovered Colby's handgun at the scene and booked it as evidence. Investigators discovered that the handgun was a ghost gun. Ghost guns are firearms manufactured without serial numbers and require no background checks for purchase, making them untraceable to law enforcement authorities. Ghost guns are generally homemade from polymer plastic or metal that needs minor modifications to make them operable. On June 2, 2021, the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office filed the following charges against Colby: 2 counts of attempt murder on a peace officer, 2 counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm on a peace officer, and 1 count of felon with a firearm. Patrick Colby is a 38-year-old resident of Los Angeles. In the next several months, the LAPD will continue to investigate and analyze this incident. We will continue interviewing any new witnesses that may come forward and complete any forensic tests. After the investigation is complete, our Critical Incident Review Division will forward their findings to the Chief of Police, who will make his recommendation to the Civilian Board of Police Commissioners. The board will evaluate the evidence to determine whether the officer's tactics, drawing and exhibiting a weapon, and use of deadly force in this instance met the high standards expected of all LAPD officers. If you'd like more information on how the LAPD and LA District Attorney's Office investigates all officer-involved shootings and other serious uses of force, visit lapdonline.org, where you can also find the LAPD's use of force policy and procedures. Thank you for taking the time to view this critical incident community briefing.
All right, so I'll go back
For young children
to
and sensitive viewers.
and drop
Officers
the
assigned
volume
to
down a
Topanga
little
Division
bit,
Patrol
and then
responded
I'll
to a radio
go-
call of an assault with a deadly weapon suspect armed with a handgun in front of a hotel involved in this incident.
All right, so I got to say that I do kind of like how LAPD does their critical incident briefings. They put together a nice little package for the media and for the public, and I gotta give them that. They do pretty good on that. But getting into the actual shooting part of the video. So these officers are knowingly responding to a call involving a person with a gun. And this is a very short video. It only shows barely a minute of what went on. So we don't get to see what's happening before they even pull into this parking lot. I would have preferred to have seen them park and then get out on foot and start looking, versus boom, we see them in the parking lot rolling through with the car door open and foot stuck out, propping the car door open, shooting from the vehicle, and then putting the vehicle in park and then getting out. I didn't really like how this one played out, so to speak. But then again, we didn't get to see what transpired directly before this. For all we know, they could have been driving around searching for this guy, and in the midst of driving around and searching for him, boom, they finally saw him, or when they got close enough, they're like, hey, that's the guy. And then, they didn't get the opportunity to park at a distance and then make a more quote-unquote stealthy or tactical approach and get surprise on the bad guy. So I can't harp too much about this part of it because I just don't know how the scenario played out before the camera, or what this footage is shown to us. But they're rolling through the parking lot in their car, and driver, let me bring that volume down just a little bit more. The driver has his foot propped open on the door here. Now let me back this up just a little bit more, because alright, see his foot right there? He's got one foot in the car and he's got one foot out the car, and he's using it to prop the door open as the vehicle is rolling forward. And might have to back it up just a tad bit more to bring up what I was wanting to show.
Involved in this incident.
Nope, not yet.
Hey, stop!
Alright, so here between the driver door and the A-post right here, you can see a person right here. And this is going to be our bad guy right here. So he was originally, it looked like somewhere over in maybe this area of the parking lot. And he could have been making his way across this parking lot. We just can't see it very well. But we do, if we back it up about 5 seconds and hit play.
From the officer involved in this incident.
Just watch this part.
Hey, stop! Stop! Now! Stop!
Yeah, it's I don't know for sure this guy's exact movements, but it looked like he was maybe just right around in here whenever they did start to open the door, and as they got closer, he started moving towards the wall over here.
Stop!
Now this officer he's doing multiple things. He is driving the car. He's still steering the wheel. He is probably utilizing his right foot to manipulate the brakes. I highly doubt he's having to press the accelerator any while they're at this point. So he's most likely only manipulating the brake, and then he's using his left arm his left foot to keep that door propped open. So he's doing like a multitude of different motor skills right here, and all of those combined, when he first had that one-handed grip, that's not optimal. He finally takes his left hand off the steering wheel, goes into a two-handed grip, and puts a couple rounds downrange at the bad guy.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Then, let me back that up because it happened pretty quick.
Stop now! Stop! Watch it, shots fired, shots fired!
Then he has to reach over with his left hand and engage the gear selector. That's why I said earlier I think it would have been better if he could have parked the vehicle at a distance and then made the approach on foot, take out all of that unnecessary motor skills that are just distracting from his ability to put effective rounds on target. As far as where he's at right now, and I've seen some other videos where people have pulled up to the scene and they've got a gun in the hand and they reach up to engage the gear selector. And it might not be something that too many people think of. And if they think about it, it's not something that they've done numerous times to have it become more of an option to do. But I think that instead of what I think would be a more effective way to put this vehicle in park is instead of him taking his two-handed grip off this gun and then reaching across his body and trying to hit this gear selector, he could have just taken that left foot of his and just brought it inside the vehicle and used it to smash down on the emergency brake. You smash that thing down, the car's not going anywhere. And you still would have been able to maintain a good two-handed grip on the vehicle. And I'm sorry, not two-handed grip on the vehicle, two-handed grip on the gun. And if this dude started fighting again, be able to deliver really good, effective shots. He finally dismounts from the vehicle. Take note of this rear windshield right here. It appears to have been shot. I don't know who shot it. I don't know if it was this officer when he fired his 2 rounds or if it was the other officer. And I don't know if the other officer fired or not. We did hear a third shot. It could have been his backup, or not his backup, but his partner in the vehicle going to the rear of their vehicle and then getting a round off at the bad guy. And he potentially could have missed and put this hole here. We can see in this screenshot that the glass is broken. But when we roll back to the beginning,
Hey, stop! Stop now!
we roll back to here, there's no hole in the window.
Stop! Watch it, shots fired, shots fired!
And it didn't look like in that fast frame right there that it looked like this guy put a hole in the rear windshield. But now there is a hole. So, yeah, I'd say his passenger got out, went to the rear of the vehicle, fired 1 round, and missed and put a hole in this person's car. The police missing their target, it's pretty common. It is pretty common for people not to hit what they're shooting at, especially when you're dealing with handguns and the situation is very dynamic and fluid. So real world encounters are not like the shooting range. It's not shooting at a paper target in a cool, calm, collective condition. It is adrenaline is pumping, heart is pumping like a freaking racehorse, and you're moving, the target's moving, and the target is armed and potentially shooting back or about to shoot back at you. So you may see officers perform very well on the shooting range, but you may see them miss their target completely in an actual real world encounter. And that's, like I said, that happens all across the U.S. That is a normal thing, so to speak. A lot of that can be remedied with good training, but agencies are cash strapped, especially these agencies who are being defunded now. If they weren't cash strapped before, they sure as shit are now. And some agencies just cannot afford to do a lot of good firearms training for many, many, many officers all across the U.S. They will first get their initial firearms training at the academy, and it's probably in most places going to be the best firearms training they ever get in their career. And they will most likely never, for the most part, see that level of training again in their career. They'll never repeat that type of training again. Many of them will simply just do what's known as a qualification course on an annual or semi-annual basis. And a qualification course is where they go out to the shooting range and they'll fire maybe upwards of around 100 rounds or so, and they'll shoot these rounds at varying distances with their two-handed grip, a one-handed grip, and a one-handed weak hand grip, and from a kneeling position, and from varying distances, from what we would call bad breath distance all the way up to maybe 20 yards or something like that. No speed shooting, no nothing like that. They're basically just, if you've ever taken a concealed carry course, think something like that. Those kind of conditions where you're just kind of standing there in front of a target and you leisurely plink holes at it. That is the life for a majority of police officers across the U.S. They'll go through the academy, and for the most part, in most places where they go through, they get pretty good, decent firearms training. Now, I'm sure there's some academies out there that has some shit instructors who don't need to be teaching, but for the most part, they should get that pretty good firearms training at the academy, and then they can go 10 years on the job, and they'll never go through firearms training like they did at the academy again. They'll just do qualifications once or twice a year, and they might do some in-service training where they get to maybe go do some additional shooting, and they might also get to do some force-on-force training throughout their career. And so most police officers are not gun people. There's a lot of police officers who the only reason why they carry a gun is it's because their employer requires that they have a gun. That's the only reason they even have one. If their employer did not say, "Hey, you got to carry a gun," and they didn't give them a gun to carry, they probably wouldn't carry a gun. There are some cops who are basically glorified social workers, and then there's some places, and I hate to be coming off as like a cop basher or anything like that, and I'm not. I'm very, very pro law enforcement, but there's even some places where, like New York, they got a lot of cops just standing around on street corners, and I mean, hell, they're almost like security guards in that sense. So, yeah, not uncommon to see police miss their target a lot, and a lot of it boils down to training, or I don't want to say a full lack of training, but training could be better than what it is in most places, but a lot of it just boils down to money, and agencies just do not have a lot of money, and for those agencies who've been defunded by their stupid liberal politicians, then they really don't have a whole lot of money to be doing that training with. The other ingredient to this is some places just don't have very good firearms instructors, and they just do not teach to the level that they should be teaching. But some people are none the wiser because they just don't know what they don't know. And what I mean by that is some people think like the police are ninjas when it comes to firearms training, that they're the be-all, know-all kind of types. And in some places, the police have very, 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 very basic knowledge and training when it comes to firearms. The curriculum that was there is pretty decent curriculum, but because of who was selected to be the instructor, that person is not a good instructor, and they're not teaching to the level that they should be. And all these new people, they don't know any better because, as I said, a lot of them are not gun people, and so they're not going to recognize, hey, this is shit training. Like, this guy didn't really cover these topics and didn't make us do this and etc. So there's just some places where it's the blind leading the blind. But anyway, getting off that rant, all the officers who fired this guy and the other dude, they missed the dude, and the dude also missed them as well. So
Get out of the car!
it's always a good day when the police get to walk home safe, no injuries.
Get your
But
hands up
it's a
now!
bad
Fucking
day.
hands up, face!
It's a bad day when the bad guys shoot at the police and then they get to walk away without any extra holes in them. I am a firm believer that if you're going to shoot at the police, you need to die. That's end of story to that.
The fucking wall! Face the fucking wall! You shoot, I'll fucking kill you!
So he's explaining to him very clearly what he's going to do if this dude continues to shoot at them. I mean, that is as plain English as you can get. I have no problem with him saying this to him. Now, you may have some people who are like, "Oh, you can't say I'm going to kill you. That sounds bad. That looks bad." Okay, you know what? In your feeble mind, maybe I can understand why that looks bad, but this is a type of event, type of profession where sometimes you gotta talk like that, and that's where there's just so many people who just don't understand that way of life. It's like the Simpsons, that neighbor, the dorky neighbor with the two little dorky kids. It's like Mr. Flanders or something like that. You know what? I'm gonna search that real quick on my phone because the Simpsons. Flanders. I think it's Flanders or something like that, maybe. Yeah, Ned Flanders. So, you take a Nedward Flanders Jr. So yeah, people like that are the ones who would be like, oh, this sounds bad. You can't cuss at them. Yeah, people like that, they just need to stay in their lane because obviously, they're not able to fully comprehend things. So talking like this is no problem for me. He's making it very clear to this guy that if he does this, he's going to kill him. Like that's plain. That is as plain as you can get. And if this guy did decide to act and reach for the gun again, and this officer shot him but did not succeed in killing him, this guy cannot come up with any excuse of, well, I didn't really fully understand what he meant. No, this officer fully explained what he was going to do. He said he was going to fucking kill you. So there's no making up bullshit lies and trying to say, well, I didn't fully understand what was being said to me. So no problem with the way he told him what he was going to do.
Get the fuck on the ground.
Get him on his knees. Get on the fucking ground. Hands on your head.
Hands on your head.
Hook him up.
So this dude just shot at them, and he took his hands and he put them down around his waist level. Man, that's that could have very easily ended up in this guy dying. And there's another video out there. I forget where it's from. It's another call involving police going to a call where a person was seen with a gun. It was like at a hotel or something. Some stupid kid had I want to say it was like a pellet rifle or something like that. And the police are in the hallway. A girl comes out of the room. They get her at gunpoint and order her back, etc. Then this boy comes out of the room. They get him at gunpoint. And he's on the ground and he makes a furtive movement. And the person with the camera on says he makes, another move, he's going to shoot him, basically. And then we see that boy reach down to his waist level. It looked like, after watching it a few times, it looked like maybe he was just trying to pull his pants up because his pants seemed to be sagging a little bit. But, I mean, as soon as he reached down for his waistline, boom, they popped him with a rifle and they killed him right there in the hallway. And that is a possibility when you make sudden movements like that, and especially if you just pointed the gun at the police, and then you decide to take your hands and drop them down to your waist level without being told to do so. This guy is very lucky that they didn't shoot him. I'd say for sure, the only thing that saved him from being shot from them was them being so close to him and being able to see fully what was going on. It's nice, bright daylight. I mean, they're basically right on top of him. They could see, this particular officer could see his hands were kind of, I think they were actually kind of flat down across his thighs, or at least one is for sure. If they had been positioned any differently and they were more to his back and boom, both his hands go down and they're out of view, they can't see him, you know what? I would have for sure expected them to start shooting and lighting his ass up. But I would say that these officers being so close and it being bright daylight, their brains are able to process all this data, and they knew that right now is not the time to shoot. But if some angles were changed, if some of the lighting conditions were changed, him dropping his hands like that down to his waist level could have very easily resulted in him being shot.
Hands on your head!
Hands on your head!
Hook him up! You move, I'll fucking blow your fucking head off! Do you understand?
Again, he is giving very clear verbal instructions to this guy. If he moves, he's going to blow his fucking head off. That, again, like I said earlier, that is very plain English. There is no mistaking what this guy's talking about or what he's insinuating or what he's trying to imply. It is very crystal clear. So, no problem with the way he's telling him what he's telling him. My only thing that I would say is negative is him getting so close like this. You can prove your point and deliver your clear communications from a safe distance. Him being this close, it doesn't sit well with me. I think he should have kept a little bit more safer distance from this guy instead of having his gun outreached all the way to where this guy could pull a ninja move and reach up with one hand to grab the barrel of the gun and push it that away. Now, of course, that obviously wouldn't work out to this guy's favor because this other guy would be right there to do something about it. But you don't want to get that close to people with an extended gun because they could very well easily reach out, grab it, and push it fast enough and far enough to where if you did pull the trigger, it's not going to hit them. And because they got their hand wrapped around the slide and whatnot, the gun's not going to cycle properly, and it's just going to have empty casing inside the gun. But anyway, that's probably the only negative thing I've got to say about this, other than the vehicle part that I talked about earlier.
Do you understand?
Investigate.
So, in one of the other videos, the Placentia police video, the guy in that video, if you remember, they talked. If you remember the radio chatter being in the background, the dispatcher was saying that particular person had some guns registered to him, and then he also happened to have a ghost gun. In that video, I talked about that person, probably being somewhat of a gun guy, not like a full gun guy, but obviously, if he's going to have some guns registered to him and he's got a ghost gun, he's probably like, kind of into guns a little bit. And I talked about, the anti-gun people in California are probably just, going to jump on that as much as they could. Well, it almost seems like I could have possibly put my foot in my mouth, because after that video, I then found this video and another LAPD video where bad guys had ghost guns. So I guess that's a thing maybe out there in California. I know it's not a thing around here. I haven't seen any big, huge things about ghost guns around here. Um, when For me, when you say ghost gun, um, I'm thinking of, you got this polymer body here and it's not fully, drilled all the way out or whatever. You got to do some work to carve some extra plastic and crap out, and maybe do some other stuff to make the gun operable. It's not an easy, like, you just buy the damn thing and you're going to start shooting it. Like, you got to put some work into making it a gun. And there's people who buy those um, those AR-15 lowers, and they're not an actual registered firearm piece, because there's just not enough material cut out of them to make them a registered firearm piece. And so typically that kind of stuff, you only see it within like the gun groups, like the gun nerds, the gun people. Um, and so around here, I haven't heard of like this being a thing within the criminal community. Bad guys buying these kits and like building their own guns, and it's not like a freaking Lego set. It's not like you're gonna buy this piece and then buy this piece and then this piece and just like put them together and make it work. Like, you got to cut some material out on some things, and that requires tools and a little bit of knowledge. And although some criminals can be kind of smart, for the most part, criminals are stupid. And I mean, if they're actually going through this whole process of getting these pieces and doing what's needed to do to put these guns together in working order, then damn, they must be hard up, because it would be so much easier for them just to go steal a damn gun out of a car or out of a home. And that possibility still exists with this particular gun here. This guy could have simply stolen this gun from a quote unquote gun guy who had it in his house or something like that. But yeah, it's interesting to see that these ghost guns are being used in this particularly this crime. Um, and I'm sure that the anti-gun crowds down there in the Republic of California are just jumping all over this, just drooling from the mouth, about we got the gun nuts. These ghost guns are being used in crimes. We got them now. We gonna ban them. Yeah, whatever. Um, yeah, that's about it. So not much on this video. Probably just took a 7-minute video and turned it into 30 minutes. I don't know how long I've been talking. But yeah, not much else to say about this video. This dumbass, too bad that he didn't get shot. I personally would have liked it if he would have been ventilated by the police for pointing his gun at the police. But it didn't happen, and unfortunately, the way the criminal justice system works, this dude, even though he was charged with this stuff, he's probably, let's see here, June 2nd, 2021. Yeah, he's probably going to be out of the system, in the next couple of years or something like that. Um, it's sad that these criminals just don't stay in jail as long as they should. It seems like the police do their job getting them off the street, but then the courts fail them by letting them right out. So, all in all, not much else to say about this. Not a whole lot of um, things wrong, I would say. Maybe things that could be done differently. Um, but then again, also not like a whole lot of strong, hey, this was done, exactly right, blah, blah, blah. If you like what you see in here, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. This is Earl Henderson with Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching.